What games have you spent literal months of your life on? World of Warcraft, not months, years. I had over 600 days of in-game play time from 2004 to 2017 when I finally quit. Edit, holy shit, that's a lot of awards, thank you fellow addicts. Relate to this. Played for so long from when it was first launched. I don't regret the friendships and memories made. But I do wonder how differently my life would have been if I had spent that time differently. Wow, that is a real and big statement. Thanks, man. Cities Skylines. It has no real end, you just slowly grow and refine your fictional city and its story until you get bored with it. Then you imagine a new city. That game just confused me. I'd get about 200k people and then everything would go to shit in seconds. It gets real hard, man. Oh, I want to say it so bad. Go ahead, don't be shy. That's what he said. Minecraft. I build huge complexes and mansions in creative mode. I have a couple of individual projects that each have over a month's worth of hours. Yes. I had a single-player hardcore world that I started when tridents were new. Sadly, after about a year, I forgot to check my elytra durability. And went skydiving. Oof. RuneScape. Me too. I still have that old $5 membership price. I'm one of those people who play RS3 not because the graphics are better but because I just never stopped playing. Still have my 06 account, smile. I was hospitalized for a while and I bought Stardew Valley on the first day I was discharged. One of the characters, Shane, was in a similar situation, so I spent my entire recovery period playing that game and getting better alongside Shane. I have around 800 hours on the PC version, but I think I'm well into over 1,000 hours since I also own it on other platforms too. Diablo 2 load still runs in the background of my PC to this day, so what is that, 20 years? Who wants to do some bail runs? Send TP. Skyrim. Factorio. Counter-Strike, Global Offensive, and I hate myself for it. I wouldn't say I hate myself for it. The one thing I would really like to do is find a community of non-toxic people who are at my skill level. That way I wouldn't have to sit through 45 minutes of Russian conversation every time I start the solo. GTA San Andreas. I've never been so immersed in a world that I would do anything from riding my bike, to flying a plane, or even dirt biking the desert. This game had so many elements in a world that I can also shoot rockets while doing all three things. Ducking, classic game and in my top 5 video games of all time. San Andreas and Vice City were ducking unbelievable when they came out. So had a lot of cool stuff that they never used again, like the turf wars. Forever waiting for Rockstar to pick that game mechanic back up. Best gang war simulator, ever. Yes. I was just talking to a friend of mine last week about how GTA 5 needs turf wars. He and I were roommates back when San Andreas came out and we shared our game. They'll never forget him yelling, "Got some clowns running up on our shit, bro. Circus in our town." As I would be lying in my bed with my GF at the time in the other room, lol. Few minutes later, I would still be lying next to my GF, pretending I didn't care about that stupid game she despised, until I would hear him yell, "Clowns have been neutralized. Circus is shut the duck down. Turf is ours." And breathe a sigh of relief to my old GF's dismay. We took that game so seriously. They need to make a remaster of that game ASAP or bring back Turf Wars. Edit, he still has our VHS copies of our highlights from that game back in the day, lol. Simpler times in life. Edit, I texted him and told him to dig up the VHS highlight reels and send them to me, lol. Sims 3, Sims 4. So many hours. Edit, just wanted to add because I'm sure people who play can relate, it's a game where I'll play all day for 3 days and then not touch for months. Yeah, The Sims is a life sucker. I have something like nearly 4,000 hours on TS4 since I first got it, and no, I'm not a streamer. Not proud of those numbers. Edit, the games are also huge money pits. What's insane is that it's a completely single-player game too. Spending crazy amounts of time on an MMO or shooter with your real-life friends or even just online acquaintances is one thing, but to spend countless hours just building and playing virtual lives for virtual people completely by yourself is another thing. And yes, I'm an avid simmer, so I get it. Playing virtual lives for virtual people and making them do chores. It's not like they live wild adventures. They literally go about their daily lives, doing laundry and cleaning up and making food and sleeping. But they do have expansions where you go on adventures. And over time you can minimize how much you need to sleep, eat and stuff through point upgrades, allowing you to focus on the fun stuff. Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4. I walk the desert of New Vegas a lot just to clear my mind, like a walk in the park. Doesn't it just make you wish for a nuclear winter? Here's Mr. New Vegas saying you're nobody till somebody loves you. And that somebody is me. I love you. Cribbage. Been playing my dad for 40 years and he can still beat my ass. My dad learned to play as a kid from his grandfather, and they bet a penny on each game. Sadly, my great-grandfather passed away relatively young, in his early 60s. My dad taught my brother and I to play as soon as we had the requisite math skills, and I grew up hearing lots of stories about my great-grandfather, whom I never met, while getting absolutely thrashed at crib by my dad. For Christmas about 10 years ago, my dad would have been around 50 years old at the time. My great-grandmother, by then in her 90s, gave him a bag of pennies with a handwritten note tied to it that read cribbage winnings from my dad's name. He had kept every penny he'd won off my dad over the years they played. The only time I've seen my dad cry harder than he did that Christmas morning is when my great-grandmother passed away a few years later. Bruh, I didn't come here for the sad feels at 4:47 a.m. before going to work. Super Smash Bros. Franchise. Easily. And also sadly because I still suck. To Pokemons. My wife got me a Switch, so I thought it would be cool to bust out my old Pokemon Sun and transfer all the mythical and legendaries I'd collected into that game. Turns out it's a UK 3DS, so I can't connect the Pokemon Bank to my Switch Pokemon Home. Not to worry, I can trade everything onto my wife's 3DS, and connect that to home, but wait, Pokemon Sun crashes every trade and won't even boot up half the time? Well, after 2 weeks and 130 Pokemon down, 90 more to trade. This is going to be a month-long project before I even play Pokemon Shield. Borderlands. I haven't played 3 yet, but I have every character from the first few max to Opus 8 or so, some, like Sirens, several times over, and that had to take months edit. Haven't played 3 because I play PC exclusively, all built from 95% used parts, and therefore my rig is at least 4 to 5 gens old, and so are my games. Also, I suck at FPS, so they take forever, which is just fine by me. Halo. Halo 2 was the reason Xbox Live caught on. It was so crazy to play an online game with decent matchmaking on consoles back then. Best level system in the entire franchise. Mount Blade, Warband. Specifically the Prophecy of Pender mod. What a game. Edit, my most upvoted comment is about Warband. Thanks. Modern Warfare 2. I'm surprised I had to scroll so far to find this. Literally every day with friend after school, and all-nighters, weekends, etc. Great times. Club Penguin. Had more friends online than real life. Apology for bad English. Where were you when Club Penguin DI was at house eating Dorito when phone on Club Penguin is kill no. Paradox Games, Ki3, UAV, Stellaris. Ki has the longest hours I've logged for any game in my Steam library, well over 1,500. Stellaris comes in second at around 700. Before that it was the Total War series, specifically Shogun, Medieval, Medieval 2 and Rome. I eventually graduated onto modding for stainless steel for meat when spent more time modding than I did playing, but still racked up the hours because it became a game in itself. Edit, thanks for the awards, guys. I'm flabbergasted I had to scroll half this thread to see a Paradox comment. Paradox players too busy fighting coalition wars to comment on Reddit. War. The bastards and Ottomans declared war upon us. Prepare for battle. They cite conquest as their casus belli. I think Terraria, Team Fortress 2, and Minecraft. Edit, did not expect so many replies. In case some people are curious, my play time is 1984 hours in Terraria, 1782 hours in TF2, and I don't know how many I have in Minecraft. I started playing a little before InDev, so quite a while. I had to scroll too damn far to see TF2 as an answer. Between 2008 and 2012 I was consumed.